Kasama namin kayo.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And
skewers of meat covered in black flies, undercooked fish soaking in a pot of dark oil, or a bowl of thick porridge with a floating layer of grease, served in bowls whose cleanliness is questionable. Just seeing this is enough to make you reconsider this culinary adventure. Imagine strolling through a bustling market in Bangladesh, where all your senses are stimulated by the rich aromas and vibrant colors of a variety of street foods. But be careful. Behind the eye-catching stalls are scary dishes that could make you regret your first bite. What's even more astonishing is that locals eat these dishes every day. Are they immune to all kinds of bacteria, or do they simply challenge their stomachs in a way that few dare to try? Do you think your stomach is strong enough to face these risky foods, or will you run away at the sight of that haunting preparation? Fuchka, Pani Puri. At first glance, fuchka appears to be an appealing and harmless street food, with its crispy, hollow shell filled with mashed potatoes and green peas, combined with a sweet and sour tamarind water. But behind this tempting exterior lies a horrifying story of food hygiene. Fuchkas are often sold at roadside stalls, where vendors don't wear gloves, don't wash their hands, and operate in a dusty environment. Can you imagine how this dish is prepared under such conditions? The scariest part is the tamarind sauce, the key ingredient that gives fuchka its signature flavor. This sauce is usually made from unclean water and stored in dirty plastic containers left outside all day. Without a lid, the sauce is easily exposed to road dust, flies, and all sorts of imaginable bacteria. Would you dare dip your crispy snack into that dangerous sauce and put it into your mouth? Not to mention the potatoes, which are one of the main ingredients. They are often not stored properly, possibly spoiled and contaminated. With just one bite of fuchka, you put your digestive system into a gamble with the risk of food poisoning. Many have experienced severe stomach aches and poisoning after trying this dish. What would you do when faced with this risky fuchka? Would you dare to challenge your stomach with the lurking danger of food poisoning in every bite? Or would you run away the moment you witness the horrifying preparation process? Chotpoti, on the surface, seems like a delicious snack made with green peas, potatoes, and boiled eggs. But beware, behind this appealing appearance lies a food hygiene nightmare. Pots filled with green peas and potatoes are cooked early in the day and then left out in the open, exposed to polluted air, flies, and insects all day long. Think that's all? Not quite. The vendors often don't wear gloves, using their bare hands to mix all the ingredients together. Can you imagine that scene? The tamarind sauce, the key to chotpoti's flavor, is made from water of unknown origin, stored in dirty plastic containers and left uncovered outdoors. Filthy fingers, unwashed, touch the food that you're about to eat. Horrifying is an understatement. Chotpoti is not just a dish, it's a challenge for the digestive system. Those who dare to try chotpoti are truly playing with the risk of food poisoning. Bacteria, dirt, and harmful substances can all hide in every bite. I guess you must be a very brave person to try this dish. At first glance, jalmuri seems like a colorful snack, with crispy puffed rice mixed with onions, chilies, and mustard oil. Sounds harmless, right? But wait, behind this tempting facade lies a hygiene nightmare waiting to strike. The puffed rice is displayed outdoors all day, soaking up dust, vehicle exhaust, and perhaps a bit of special seasoning from uninvited bacteria. Does the idea of eating something that has breathed city air all day sound appetizing to you? That's not all. The mustard oil, considered the soul of the dish, is often of low quality, improperly produced, and full of harmful chemicals. Jalmuri vendors typically don't wear gloves, using their bare hands to mix the ingredients right on the dusty sidewalks. Imagine those unsanitary hands coming into direct contact with the food you're about to eat. Doesn't that make you shudder? Jalmuri is not just a street food, it's a test of your courage and endurance. With every bite of jalmuri, you're gambling with your health, as bacteria, dirt, and toxic chemicals lurk in every ingredient. So will you be ready to indulge or politely decline, saying, "I've had enough dust for today"? Halim is a thick porridge made from meat and lentils. Sounds like an appealing street food, right? But are you ready to face the mysteries lurking within this bowl of porridge? Imagine a pot of halim cooked in large quantities early in the morning and left out in the scorching sun all day, continuously exposed to dust and swarms of flies. Do you see that pot of porridge as a mobile laboratory? Quite tempting, isn't it? But wait, there's more. The most astonishing part is the meat in halim. If not cooked thoroughly, it can become the perfect breeding ground for uninvited guests like Salmonella or E. coli bacteria. Did you know that these guests don't just come for a free meal, but bring along a gift of dangerous food poisoning for you? How do you feel about enjoying a bowl of porridge that has been sitting out since the morning and reheated dozens of times? Perhaps you might think, oh, what an adventure for my stomach. This is not just a dish. It's a test of your courage and willingness to take risks. Are you ready to take on this challenge? Or will you let Halim remain a mystery, something you only dare to mention in humorous tales? So how about it? Is your stomach trembling yet? Singara, a wildly popular street food in Bangladesh. But did you know that behind its tempting appearance lies a true nightmare in terms of hygiene? Imagine this. Crispy singaras deep fried in oil. Sounds delicious, right? But wait, are you sure that oil is fresh? The scary reality is that the oil used to fry singara is often not replaced, but reused to a frightening extent. Picture a pot of oil that has been used dozens of times, turning black, thick, and full of residue. Feeling a shiver down your spine yet? This oil not only gives the dish an unpleasant smell, but also contains a library of toxic compounds. And guess what? Some of those could be the authors of cancer. But hold on, the horror doesn't stop there. Every bite of Singara you take is not just soaked in old oil, but is also a treasure trove of bacteria and toxins from the environment. Do you think the potato filling inside is safe? Think again. Even this filling could be contaminated due to unsanitary preparation processes. So what are you really eating? A crispy Singara that, aside from its delicious, crunchy exterior, holds a real bomb for your digestive system. Tasty, isn't it? Tasty enough to make you cry. Who could have guessed that this seemingly harmless sauce is actually the root of all biosecurity issues when you try fuchka? Made from tamarind and spices, it sounds incredibly tempting, but behind that lies a nightmare. The sauce is often stored in dirty plastic containers, lacking proper hygiene, and left out in the open all day long, exposed to dust, vehicle emissions, and various bacteria. Have you ever wondered what kind of water is used to make the secondary sauce? The terrifying truth is that it might come from unsafe sources full of pollutants and infections. Flies seem to feast on the sauce containers, and each time they land, they carry a host of bacteria from one place to another. Even scarier, the vendor doesn't wash their hands before dipping the bread into the sauce and serving it to customers. Can you imagine? Every crispy bite of puchka you take is packed with bacteria and disease, just waiting to enter your digestive system. Because of this lack of hygiene, Puchka becomes a dish that easily causes food poisoning and intestinal diseases. So, what will you do? Will you risk tasting this dangerous bacteria filled sauce just to satisfy your taste buds? Or will you immediately steer clear once you know the horrifying truth about its preparation process? Biryani is the next dish that, just by thinking about it, you can quickly picture a hearty meal with fragrant rice, tender meat, and rich flavors. But when you learn about its journey from the streets of Bangladesh to your plate, do you still find it appealing? The labels on biryani clearly indicate that it has been exposed for days under the scorching sun amidst dust, smoke, and buzzing flies. Can the taste of this dish really outweigh concerns about food safety? The meat in biryani, lacking proper cooking techniques or adequate preservation equipment, becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. Now, imagine you're about to enjoy a fragrant pack of biryani, but then you picture it sitting all day under the indifferent gaze of the street. Unwashed hands and dirty utensils are the contributing factors to the making of this dish. So, what will you do? Are you confident enough to try a street biryani that could be hiding thousands of health hazards? Or would you pass, thinking about the consequences your stomach might face later? Ask yourself, is a moment of indulgence in flavor worth trading for long nights of food poisoning? Thank you for joining Discover Journey on this exciting culinary adventure. If this documentary has captured your interest, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Discover Journey for more in-depth explorations of the world's most mysterious and challenging dishes. Share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section. See you in the next culinary adventure.
So smooth. What's new?
Just my new Mach 3 razor. Gillette Mach 3 with skin comfort blades that glide through hair for irresistible smoothness. Gillette Mach 3.
Indian street drinks are a bold mix of innovation and health code violations. Half the flavor comes from the spices, the other half from the guy's unwashed hands. But today we will get to know a true masterpiece of Indian street mixology, the Green Mild Lassi. Crafted with every green thing the chef can find within a 1 kilometer radius: mint, coriander, mystery leaves, the neighbor's plant leaves, and probably some grass clippings. This drink is as fresh as it is questionable. Our bearded maestro, whose facial hair rivals the length of the Ganges, blends everything with his signature touch. Occasionally, a rogue beard hair sneaks in, adding a premium keratin boost for that extra nutrition. And to top it all off, he slices a handful of grass straight from the roadside, ensuring you get your daily dose of nature. Hello, my friends. Today we embark on a culinary adventure so bold, so daring, that even my digestive system just filed for early retirement. We start with these exquisite pickles, marinated in what can only be described as the digestive regrets of a pig with gastroenteritis. The aroma? A seductive mix of vinegar, desperation, and broken dreams. One bite and oh yes, you'll feel your intestines questioning all your life choices. Next up, we have the stew, a dish so thick and viscous that NASA is considering it as a substitute for spaceship adhesive. Just look at that texture, if you can actually separate it from the pot. It clings on like an ex who just won't take the hint. They say it's made with secret spices, which is a polite way of saying, we're not sure what's in it, but you already paid, so good luck. And finally, the crown jewel of culinary nightmares. A chorizo, forgive me, Spaniards, but not just any chorizo. No, no, no. This beauty is stuffed with a delicate blend of mystery fish and, you guessed it, the carefully curated, artisanal, free-range hairs from the balls of our dear gastroenteritis-ridden pig. It's bold. It's innovative. It's an insult to humanity. So, if you're looking for a meal that will challenge your digestive system like a final boss battle, you've come to the right place. And remember, street food isn't about taste, it's about survival. Bon appetit!
You're guilty on 69 accounts of showering, not scamming, and not shitting in your street food.
Your Honor!
I sentence you to a 5-minute shower
No!
and using deodorant every day
My life is over, please, no!
for the next 2 weeks.
Welcome to Uncle Joe's House of Noodles, where chaos meets culinary excellence. Today we're proud to present our newest creation, Organic Dumpster Supreme, a bold reimagining of street food, expertly crafted to resemble the contents of your neighbor's compost bin. Our signature videos are tossed in a sauce that can only be described as mystery liquid, complemented by a medley of hand-selected green and red scraps. Each piece is meticulously not chopped, ensuring the rustic charm of, well, neglect. Served lukewarm for that authentic back alley experience, this dish is paired with the distinct aroma of regret and garnished with a sprinkle of confusion. Don't miss the chance to pay top dollar for what looks like something scraped off a sidewalk. Uncle Joe's House of Noodles, where every bite is an adventure and every dish tells a story you wish you hadn't heard. And to all of you hardworking folks out there watching this culinary masterpiece while grinding away at your jobs, whether you're stuck in the office flipping burgers or trying not to scream at your inbox, we see you, we salute you, and we dedicate this bowl of questionable artistry to your perseverance. Remember, no matter how chaotic life gets, at least you didn't order this. Stay strong, stay hungry, and stay far, far away from Uncle Joe's. Welcome to the rustic charm of traditional cooking, where stew is lovingly stirred in a giant clay jar with the family broom. Don't worry about those stray bristles. They've long since dissolved into the bubbling cauldron, adding that extra fiber country folks swear by. Its color? Somewhere between earthy and outright alarming. Let's just say the less said, the better. With every swirl, you wonder if you're being served dinner or a dare. This isn't just food, it's a test of faith, courage, and your digestive system's will to live. Behold street food's answer to hand washing. Our fearless chef dives his arm into the dough right up to the elbow, as if searching for lost treasure or just last week's leftover germs. His hand, a swirling storm of questionable hygiene, becomes the primary utensil, mixing tradition with every bit of dirt collected since 1992. And then comes the hand-spitting technique, a move so bold even health inspectors faint. He flings dough into the pan with the finesse of someone firing cannonballs, all while miming the universal sign of, "I dare you to eat this." Forget Michelin stars. This is the kind of cooking that deserves a biohazard symbol. Culinary tradition? Sure. A coli? Probably. Bon appetit, brave souls.
Cash or card? Cow dung.
Ah, behold, a culinary spectacle from the depths of somewhere between gastroenteritis and genius. The kind of video that makes you question not only your lunch choices, but your faith in the food pyramid itself. We begin with a lone culinary prophet, stationed heroically next to what can only be described as a biohazard swamp with traffic. His mission? To concoct what appears to be a lemon-based elixir, or perhaps a potion to summon intestinal chaos. The lemons? Freshly rescued from their morning swim in what might generously be described as puddle chic. One could almost hear them scream in citrus dialect as they're plucked from the mossy abyss. But wait, the pièce de résistance. Ice, sourced directly from the artisanal depths of the local sewer grate. Yes, dear viewers, where others see sewage, he sees a spa retreat for frozen cubes. He lovingly macerates the ice for 24 hours in a subterranean marinade, allowing it to soak up those terroir notes only found near drainage pipes and expired chewing gum. And just when you think the health inspector might leap through the screen like a Marvel character, plot twist. He pours the concoction into a vintage paint bucket, complete with rustic stains and what may or may not be lead-based flavor enhancers. In the end, you don't know whether to gag or applaud. Is it a beverage? Is it a social experiment? Is it bio-warfare in a cup? One thing's for sure, it's not just street food, it's street philosophy. A statement on resilience, immunity, and man's eternal quest to turn anything into a drink.
I have deodorant! Everybody on the ground!
Welcome, culinary adventurers, to today's gourmet gem, the art of street beverages as interpreted by a visionary who seems to have survived both the end of civilization and a major plumbing crisis. Our host, standing amidst a symphony of rusted utensils and what might once have been kitchenware, proudly unveils the centerpiece of his dystopian drinks menu, a clay jar bubbling with what the optimists in the crowd claimed is tamarind, but which upon closer inspection bears an uncanny resemblance to a pair of floating logs you'd normally see bravely navigating the Ganges. But wait, the magic's just begun. No self-respecting street alchemist would dare rely solely on such robust base notes. Enter the secret ingredient, distilled essence of air conditioner runoff, straight from the neighbor's facade. Why settle for mere tap water when you can infuse your drink with the industrial spirit of the city? Now, to the time-honored festival of flavors. First, a generous scoop of quicklime, because nothing says tradition like masking dubious odors with a pinch of construction material. Then lemons freshly plucked from whatever tree survived in the local roundabout, and a handful of roots from the municipal shrubbery, because what doesn't kill you only adds to the terroir. And let's not forget the sacred powders. First the mysterious white, then the holy Maggi, straight from the soup aisle, because if instant ramen can feed the masses, surely it can flavor the apocalypse. A sprinkle more lime, a few more mystery roots, and voila, you have a beverage that truly defies description and possibly local health ordinances. Is it tamarind? Is it an ancient rite of passage? Or is it a cautionary tale for generations to come? One thing's for certain, tradition is alive and well, surviving on pure audacity and the faint hope that whatever doesn't kill you makes your immune system legendary. So here's my question for you, dear viewers. How much money would it take for you to drink a full glass of this in one go? Let me know in the comments.
Daming kaka-check, di makatulog, hirap niyan, sipitin.
Switch to Whisper's Long Pad. Up to 100% leak protection at 46 pesos. New Whisper Day and Night Protection. Laptop on your life.
Bisan lagyo mo karong Pasko, imo special inyong handaan with Ladies' Choice.
Welcome back to another episode of Michelin Star Chefs in Disguise, where every street corner is a 5-star kitchen, and every meal is a daring adventure for your immune system. We open with desserts, elegantly surrounded by clouds of insects, as if sprinkled with the finest organic protein garnish. The flies here aren't just bystanders. They're part of the experience. Giving every sweet that unmistakable sweet and sour aroma, nature's original flavor enhancer. Then come the bubbling stews, mysterious concoctions simmering away in pots that have clearly seen more history than your local museum. These vessels have an unmistakable patina, achieved only through decades of loving neglect and perhaps a touch of tetanus. The chef, a true artist, stirs these infernal broths with utensils so seasoned you can taste the last 7 meals in every bite. Next up are the famous meat pudding towers. These magnificent structures are engineered from tender cuts of, well, let's just call it meat, with hints of organs, magical dust, and the occasional unidentifiable excretion. Each pudding is carefully stuffed into a bun, then toasted to perfection on what can only be described as a repurposed sewer lid, drizzled with artisanal, secondhand petroleum for that smoky, post-apocalyptic finish. And let's not forget the dough, hand-kneaded with unmatched devotion. Sometimes the chef immerses not just hands, but elbows, even shoulders into the mix, infusing that irreplaceable human touch, a depth of flavor that's both earthy and existential. Every dish promises a taste experience that lingers far longer than you ever asked for. Perfect for those who feel modern food is too predictable, too sanitized, or just not risky enough. Bon appetit. Behold the ancient art of street cuisine, resurrected with all the subtlety of a marching band in a monastery. Our chef, a true archaeologist of flavor, chooses not a spoon, but the noble leg of a 17th century piano, because nothing stirs mysterious fillings quite like an instrument that survived both plagues and powdered wigs. Into a chamber pot, surely last used by someone named Sir Reginald, he tosses his ingredients. Next, a tray of cheese fingers, or so legend claims. These come stuffed with organic matter, a term here meaning whatever was brave enough to fall in. Each finger is a testament to culinary innovation and mild recklessness, resembling relics Indiana Jones would pawn off to pay a parking ticket. Not to be outdone, another sage arrives, plucking wild leaves from a tree rumored to grant hallucinations. He lovingly massages them with a brown concoction, part mystical potion, part questionable household cleaner, before rolling them into little vegan scrolls to be steamed until achieving the precise consistency of Elizabethan wallpaper. And for dessert, a mound shaped uncannily like a stunned thrush, bathed in a sauce that triggers flashbacks to questionable life choices. One taste, and you'll remember every school lunch and regrettable family reunion in excruciating detail. Truly, this is gastronomy for the adventurous, the nostalgic, and the terminally confused. Bon appetit if you dare.
Hey Dad, look! My friend gave me this deodorant today and said I should use it.
No, you must keep the stench. Throw that away.
Behold the crown jewel of street gastronomy, a dish so refined it could make caviar feel insecure. First comes the leaf, not just any leaf, but a noble survivor of the public garden, sunburnt and wind-battered, with a faint perfume of municipal sprinklers and questionable fertilizer. It lies flat, awaiting its transformation into something that technically counts as food. A lavish smear of artisanal white paste follows, handcrafted, legend says, by mountain mystics who believe hygiene is a capitalist conspiracy. It shines like luxury wall putty in the midday sun. Next, a sprinkle of turtle food, the kind designed for reptiles with discerning palates. 3 dramatic drops of vivid red liquid are added, as if marking the dish for ritual sacrifice. Now the ritual reaches its finale. The leaf is folded with solemn ceremony, enclosing this daring combination into a tight green parcel, a miniature time bomb for the human digestive system. And thus, Pan Masala is born, a portable, chewable art installation that is equal parts flavor, confusion, and questionable life choice. Some call it tradition, others call it an act of culinary terrorism. Either way, it's ready to serve. Welcome to the avant-garde world of Indian street food construction, where hygiene is just a conspiracy theory and flavor is measured by bravery. The show starts with our culinary architect selecting a perfectly raw onion, freshly peeled, still weeping from the trauma. No need to wash those hands, of course. Why break with tradition when the real secret sauce is whatever's lingering under those fingernails? Next, he summons chickpeas from his trusty cement mixer, because nothing says homemade like legumes poured straight from industrial machinery. To ensure structural integrity, he adds a hearty scoop of fresh dirt and a dash of quick-setting concrete, so your meal stays together and doesn't shoot out the other end like a busted fire hydrant. With the dedication of a true builder, he flattens the whole thing into a proud little mortar castle, then douses the center with enough lemon juice to give your taste buds a cardiac event. You can almost hear your mouth calling its lawyer. As for the garnish, only the best, toast crisp to perfection, on a 17th century manhole cover because authenticity matters. For plating, nothing but the finest eco-friendly arrangement, an assortment of what appears to be last night's leftovers from a Michelin-starred dumpster, artfully scattered on pieces of yesterday's newspaper for that vintage, landfill chic aesthetic. Bon appetit, where every bite is a gamble, every flavor a dare, and every meal a tribute to modern digestive medicine. Some street foods are an adventure, a test of courage, and a digestive gamble all in one. But today we will get to know a true legend of chaotic roadside cuisine, the Deli Belly Burger. This masterpiece starts with a generous pile of onions, tomatoes, and an unholy blend of spices, all doused in a heroic splash of lemon juice for that extra tangy street authenticity. The patty itself is made with the finest mystery meat, processed with tremendous effort, almost as if it were excreted rather than ground. Once shaped into a loose, structurally questionable disc, it is lovingly slapped onto a scorching pan, where it meets its fate in a 20-ounce tsunami of butter. The result? A burger so rich, even your arteries start chanting mantras for mercy. Welcome to the world of authentic street food. The rules are simple. If it doesn't smell like regret and possible food poisoning, it ain't real. Our journey begins with a world-class chef preparing his famous rice rolls. But forget sushi bars and fancy chopsticks. This man is built different. First, he grabs a handful of sticky rice and dunks it straight into a bucket of what might have been water at some point this century. Then, with the precision of a drunk uncle grilling at a NASCAR tailgate, he slaps it onto a pan that looks like your grandma's old chamber pot that's been sitting in the garage since 1987. Michelin stars? This man is cooking with straight-up determination. But hold on to your hats, folks, because the next stop is a level of horror that defies all FDA regulations. Meet Chef Barehands standing proudly behind a stall of sludgy, unidentifiable broths. There's a spoon in every tray, but he's a man of tradition, which means grabbing a fistful of whatever's closest and lovingly kneading it into a giant tub of rice. At this point, eating here ain't just a meal, it's a test of your immune system's horsepower. And just when you think you've survived, it's time for dessert, a nice, refreshing cup of tea. But what's that floating in the sugar bowl? More protein than a gas station hot dog. Ain't nothing like a little extra crunch in your sweet tea. The chef scoops up a handful and dumps it in like he's seasoning his famous mystery stew. Smooth, sweet, and possibly crawling. Just how Grandpappy used to be. The overcomplicated clusterfuck of a chicken taco. Damn it, man, it's just a taco, not a fucking alchemy experiment. But no, this street chef operates on maximum chaos mode. First, the chicken, or should I say, the 1% chicken buried under 2 metric tons of spice. He doesn't just season it, he baptizes it in every damn spice known to mankind, rubbing it all over his hands first, because apparently hygiene is for the weak. Then comes the oil bath. A drizzle? Hell no. He pours oil like he's trying to summon Satan by a deep-fry ritual, turning the pan into a boiling death trap. After 200 unnecessary steps, countless exotic ingredients, and enough labor to build a fucking cathedral, what do we get? A taco that looks like a trash can exploded, and the taste? Like getting punched in the mouth by every spice in existence, drowning in grease. Well done, chef. You took a perfectly simple dish and made it a goddamn disaster.
Naku, lumang tingnan. Nililaw na, di kaya sa budget ng bago eh.
Kaya mo kang bago. With Tide Expert Clean, mas tanggal kaysa iba. With 3 times pa mas linis. Dapat malinis, dapat Tide.
For 4 out of 5 Pinoys, ito ang
Pinakamalaki!
pinakamasarap! Enjoy!
Ah, what a privilege to taste a masterpiece that defies all norms of what is edible. At first glance, this creation appears to have been carefully regurgitated by a goat after a hard day of grazing. The colors, a palette of greens, browns, and something that could be old mustard, scream wild authenticity, a true ode to nature. At its worst, the texture indescribable, but not for lack of words, but because no human language should dare to describe it. It is a unique combination of poorly blended mash and post-rain mud. The aroma, a mix of fermented cheese and broken dreams, instantly transports me to an abandoned farm in the middle of nowhere. And the taste, oh, the taste, an explosion of sensations ranging from this shouldn't be in my mouth to why am I still alive. Each bite is a small death, but not one of those heroic ones. Rather one where you wonder how you got to this point in your life. In short, an unforgettable experience, in the sense that I will spend years trying to forget it. Applause to the chef for having the courage to serve this and charge for it. Ah, the culinary magic that only the internet can provide. It seems you've stumbled upon a masterpiece of interstellar gastronomy. Cooking an alien in hot tar is undoubtedly a groundbreaking technique. Who needs an air fryer or sous vide when you've got a bucket of molten asphalt at hand? Not to mention the final presentation. Peeling off the tar in what looks like a swamp water stew pot, a true homage to culinary hygiene. Clearly, the chef has mastered the perfect balance between science fiction and post-apocalyptic street food. Who could resist that crispy tar layer that, once removed, reveals something even marine biologists probably couldn't identify? It's like Alien and Breaking Bad teamed up for a cooking show. And let's not forget the story behind it all. Every step of the process screams, why settle for something safe and edible when you can make people question their sanity and stomach at the same time? Kudos to the chef for taking us to the very edges of good taste, both literally and figuratively. Next time, they should serve it with a drizzle of caramelized napalm. Ah, how wonderful to witness the artisanal process of a cake that redefines the concept of handmade. This visionary chef, dressed in his elegant uniform of dirt accumulated over decades, takes us on a culinary journey where creativity and bacteria go hand in hand. Well, more like the nails, because those hands seem to carry with them the secrets of 1,000 previous dishes and perhaps some ancient parasite. The video starts with a masterful demonstration of contempt for any health protocol. Their hands, which have probably explored more dark corners than an archaeologist in an ancient tomb, immerse themselves in the world of baking with the same delicacy with which a small child crushes mud in the yard. The crowning moment comes when he decides to add that special touch, a tap on the eggs, the ingredient ones, of course, with his expertly dirty hands. A symphony of textures and fluids combine as the smashed eggs fall into the container with a grace that only someone willfully unaware of the existence of soap could achieve. The dough, kneaded in what seems like a pagan ritual invoking the god of food poisoning, takes on a life of its own. All of this, of course, happens in an environment meticulously decorated with layers of dust, grease, and who knows what else, providing that je ne sais quoi that distinguishes the oat pastries of rural India. The final result, a cake that defies all expectations, because the most incredible thing is that someone in the world will dare to eat it. This work of art is not just food, it is a testament that humanity can endure anything. Bravo, teacher. Bravo. In the lawless world of street food, this chef has cooked up a stew so texturally confusing, it feels like a dare. Some chunks resemble river stones, others a mysterious, spreadable paste, all floating in a broth that refuses to mix, like it's trying to flee the pot and start a new life elsewhere. But progress has been made. For the first time ever, the chef has used actual utensils, trading in his signature filthy hand scoops for a ladle. A bold leap for hygiene, a tragic loss for bacteria fans. He serves the final creation in clay pots of various sizes, sealed tighter than state secrets, not to preserve freshness, but to trap every last molecule of methane bubbling from the depths. It's not just a meal, it's a pressurized digestive gamble, proudly served with a side of suspense. Some cooking videos make you hungry. This one makes you reconsider meat, gravity, and the concept of mercy. It opens on what can only be described as a mass poultry casualty. Dozens of chicken carcasses piled up like they were swept in by a flood after raising a village. Grim. Oh, just getting started. Our fearless meatball artisan appears, clearly a man who's never heard of parts. He grabs a whole chicken, beak, claws, testicles, and the suspicious tufts of hair still clinging to them, and casually tosses it straight into a grinder. No trimming, no cleaning, just vibes. Concerned about sharp beak fragments or rogue toenails? Don't worry. His partner comes in wearing heavy-duty rubber boots and stomps the mixture like she's packing down cement. Hygiene, optional, texture, unforgiving. The result? Chicken meatballs that look more like colorful river stones than anything you'd willingly put in your mouth. Nature's marvels, now available in the frozen food aisle. They do beef meatballs too, but alas, after trying to throw in an entire bull, horns and all, and breaking the machine, they've begrudgingly started cutting the meat first. A small concession to logic. In summary, it's not just a recipe, it's a crime scene with seasoning. There he stands, our sticky street sorcerer, wielding a massive wooden staff wrapped in what must be 200 plastic bags, each one a layer of mystery, and probably bacteria. From its top oozes a glistening, unidentifiable substance he stretches by hand, bare, unapologetically unwashed, onto sticks, twisting it into what he insists is a flower. Though really it more closely resembles a Puya chilensis, that hostile South American plant with spines and the personality of a cactus on a bad day. The process is hypnotic. Children squeal with delight. Adults glance around, unsure if they're witnessing street food or a violation of the Geneva Conventions. Health codes? He's never met one. And yet somehow this man thrives, an urban candy alchemist turning questionable goo into grotesque sugar sculptures. Is it edible? Maybe. Is it legal? Doubtful. Is it performance art? Almost certainly. Whatever it is, it's unforgettable. And probably immune system training for the brave souls who dare to take a bite. Pack your bags and maybe some hand sanitizer. Because today we're headed to Chennai, India, where donuts are not just a snack, they're an experience. Why settle for sterile factory-made donuts when you can indulge in handcrafted delicacies steeped in a rich tradition of personal seasoning? These donuts are lovingly prepared by chefs who hold fast to their sacred heritage of avoiding showers and skipping soap. Each one is kissed with an unmistakable bouquet of human essence, a scent so authentic it could only come from the sweat and toil of true artisans. The toppings, an eclectic mix for the adventurous palate. Some are chocolate chips, others are winged surprises. And if you're truly lucky, a crumb of organic mystery that adds a certain je ne sais quoi, but we won't say what. The crowning achievement is the glaze. A glossy finish enhanced with the finest fingerprints, stray hairs, and a sprinkle of kitchen floor ambience. It's not just a donut, it's an exploration of culinary boundaries and your immune system's limits. Donuts are for the bold, the daring, and the deeply committed to living life on the edge of gastronomic innovation. Thai street food is a world of bold flavors, sizzling woks, and, apparently, a dress code set by the Department of Distraction. In this highly specialized gastronomic experience, the key ingredient isn't in the pan, it's in the strategic placement of the camera. First up, the noodle chef. Noodles swirl, the wok hisses, and yet somehow I couldn't tell you if she was making pad thai or microwaving instant ramen. Then the ramen specialist, a beautiful, delicate art, hand-pulled noodles, rich broth, complex flavors. At least I assume so. I have no evidence to support this claim because my brain registered nothing but gravity-defying physics. Somewhere, a chef in Japan is crying. Next, the butcher, knife in one hand, an unholy level of movement in the other. Meat is being sliced, but the real spectacle? The unnecessary but deeply appreciated choreography. The meat isn't the only thing being tenderized in this scene. Finally, the soup stir. a simple, innocent act. A ladle, a pot, a rhythmic motion that somehow transcends the boundaries of cooking and enters a realm previously studied only by theoretical physicists. If you told me she was stirring cement, I'd believe you. Not because I saw it, but because I was too busy having an out-of-body experience. Is this a showcase of street food mastery or the most effective thirst trap in culinary history? Michelin stars won't be awarded, but let's be honest, no one was here for the food. Step aside, Michelin chefs. There's a new culinary pioneer redefining the limits of human digestion. Somewhere on a bustling street corner, a street food vendor performs a ritual that can only be described as unholy gastronomy. Armed with an army of mystery spices and what appears to be a chemistry set from a post-apocalyptic garage sale, our hero begins his masterpiece. He spreads a suspiciously white, viscous paste, let's generously call it culinary foam, onto banana leaves using a rusted metal rod that looks like it just came out of a toxic waste barrel. Is it safe? Is it food? Science may never catch up. Then for that extra je ne sais ugh, he adds another concoction of unknown origin and gives the whole thing a loving remix with his bare fingers. Truly nothing brings out the earthy, salty essence of food like body temperature and fingernail seasoning. What results is not so much a meal, but a performance art piece that dares to ask, what if flavor was a threat? Bon appetit, if you're brave. In what can only be described as a culinary apocalypse with strong undertones of gastrointestinal danger, our national chef presents a stew that resembles something scooped straight from a medieval latrine. Thick, brown, and glistening like fresh regret, it bubbles ominously in a giant cauldron, better suited for casting spells or boiling old boots. With a metal bucket in hand, clearly borrowed from a construction site, he begins the sacred ritual of scooping the sludge and transferring it into a slightly smaller, equally questionable bucket. Some whisper this process is to impart an extra touch of ferrous oxide, as if seasoning with rust were a bold new culinary frontier. Others suspect he's just winging it, guided only by tradition, chaos, and fumes. And then, the pièce de résistance. He reaches into the bottom of the cauldron with his bare hands, which are about as clean as a public bathroom after a music festival. Fingers deep in the muck, he scrapes up every last chunk like a man possessed, adding that final flourish of earthiness straight from his palms. This isn't just cooking, it's performance art. A love letter to national tradition, handwritten in oil, dirt, and questionable decisions. Bon appetit and good luck. Behold the master chef, an elderly warrior of the kitchen, who fearlessly plunges his arm up to the shoulder into a primordial sludge that might be dough or a sentient life form. With a flick, he spreads a whisper-thin layer onto a sizzling pan, then hands it off to another culinary daredevil, who rolls it in what could be crushed nuts or artisanal wood shavings. Who knows, the camera refuses to say. 15 million tubes later, they are baptized in an abyssal cauldron of oil so black it might contain a lost civilization. The result? A crispy enigma people devour with unsettling enthusiasm. And honestly, you'd probably try it too. With a mastery both awe-inspiring and mildly terrifying, an old woman brews the same sticky sludge as her predecessor. Then, with zero hesitation, she dunks what look like cypress balls, gnarled, wooden, possibly cursed, into the mix, coats them thoroughly, and drops them into a vat of oil so dark it might have its own gravitational pull. The result? Deep-fried mystery or crunchy nightmare, who's to say? But this isn't over yet. For dessert on today's menu, our chef whips up a treat straight from your nightmares. First, a handful of what looks like shredded magazine pages, aged, possibly cursed, pressed lovingly into a rusty iron mold. Then comes the flavor booster, a splash of authentic corner puddle water, rich in street minerals and mystery bacteria. And finally, it all gets dunked into a tub of thick, diarrhea-colored sludge that screams gastrointestinal roulette. Alternatively, for those with a more refined palate, There's option B, a dessert with a truly exquisite presentation. Elegantly served on a silver tray, it features what appears to be a handcrafted artisanal human byproduct, lovingly shaped, naturally textured. Surrounding it, a warm, mysterious sauce cradles several others of identical form, suggesting a communal effort from multiple contributors, a bold celebration of biology and buffet. We have encountered these edible mortar structures far too many times, each one competing for the most grotesque and stomach-churning appearance. But today we have the privilege, no, the misfortune, of witnessing firsthand how one of these architects of street food abominations constructs his latest monument to nausea. With hands that have clearly not been introduced to soap in recent history, our culinary outlaw slaps down a mass of chickpea dough onto a surface that science would advise against touching. He kneads it with the passion of a man who has long abandoned health codes, molding it into an ominous, oversized ring, its structure precarious, its texture deeply unsettling. But he is not done. Oh no. To elevate this gastronomic crime scene, he impales whole cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes into the trembling, starchy monstrosity, as if adorning a pagan sacrifice to the gods of food poisoning. The ingredients stand upright in tragic defiance, their fates sealed in this culinary mausoleum. Then comes the final affront to decency, a mysterious, viscous orange puree, poured into the center with the same careful precision one might use when disposing of toxic waste. The crater of doom fills up, swirling into a broth that defies both logic and human dignity. The structure quivers, the boundaries between solid and liquid beginning to blur in ways that would make any self-respecting physicist weep. And just when you think it cannot possibly get worse, he decorates it. A handful of onions and other unidentifiable objects are sprinkled over the grotesque display, as if a final attempt to convince us that this is, in fact, food and not some avant-garde social experiment in human suffering. The masterpiece is complete. It stands before us, a towering insult to both nature and common sense. Is it edible? Is it a warning? Is it the result of a bet that went too far? One thing is certain. Somewhere in the distance, a health inspector is crying. Our gastronomic adventure begins with what can only be described as mutant donut orbs, suspiciously glistening under the streetlights. These plump abominations take a leisurely swim in a liquid that bears an uncanny resemblance to a Central Park puddle in peak autumn. A milky, leaf-infused broth that whispers promises of both flavor and gastrointestinal distress. Just as our senses recover from this initial assault, we are graced by the presence of Mr. Dough Fondler extraordinaire, a man whose dedication to stretching and manhandling a suspiciously chicle-like mass is truly commendable. With every pull, twist, and smack of his ungloved hands, the dough absorbs not just his touch, but perhaps a potent cocktail of street-seasoned vitamins and minerals. Germs? No, my dear viewer, these are organic enzymes, nature's secret seasoning. But the grand spectacle arrives in the form of Madame Mock, a fearless culinary artiste whose finishing touch on the meat involves what appears to be the very same mop used to clean the back alley an hour ago. With the reverence of a high priestess in a pagan ceremony, she anoints the sacred flesh, her motions reminiscent of a pope blessing bishops in a shadowy ritual best left undocumented. The result? A protein-packed dish infused with the spirit of, why did I agree to eat this?
Oh, भाई साहब, वहाँ पे डस्टबिन रहता है.
Straight from India's most daring kitchens comes this exquisite chocolate dessert with a shape so realistic that it seems to have been hand-delivered by a cow after a heavy lunch. The chef, of course, does not skimp on details. Every curve and texture is molded with the precision of someone who has clearly never seen a glove in his life. The shine, the shine. It's as if someone had handed him a kitchen towel that had already seen better days. And the scent, well, you probably don't want to check it too closely. Ideal for impressing at parties, especially if your goal is to keep no one near the buffet. Chocolate with personality, but it better stay on the plate. Poof. Before we even get to the food, let's take a moment to appreciate the crime scene decor. Right there, on the back wall of this fine establishment, we can see the permanent imprint of a motorcyclist immortalized in oil and regret. Rather than let a good accident go to waste, the chef, ever the opportunist, has clearly recycled the situation into today's burger special. But let's not get distracted. Today, the star of the show is not the mystery meat, but rather the legendary fried eggs. These eggs won't be cooked in just any oil. Oh no, that would be far too simple. Instead, they will be baptized in a sacred viscous liquid that has stood the test of time, possibly dating back to the Ottoman Empire itself. This oil has witnessed sultans rise and fall, empires crumble, and arteries clog. It has a deep, rich patina, a thickened consistency that suggests both historical significance and immediate health concerns. As the chef cracks the eggs into this tar-like abyss, they don't so much sizzle as they whisper their final prayers. The yolks, once full of life, now tremble in fear as they are slowly swallowed by centuries of unwashed grease. The smell, a delicate blend of burnt history, motor oil, and possible war crimes. Meanwhile, the motorcycle burger patties rest nearby, soaking up the ambiance and possibly the trauma of their origins. It's a perfect harmony of flavors. One part rubber, one part nostalgia, and a whole lot of questionable choices. Will you take a bite? Will you survive the experience? One thing is for certain, this is not just a meal, it's a rite of passage. Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to witness is not cooking, it's nuclear alchemy. Our fearless chef begins by unleashing a swamp green liquid straight from a radioactive canister salvaged from Fallout 4's wastelands. Next comes a deep red mystery liquid. Blood, wine, or the tears of a forgotten deity? Only heaven knows. To this unholy brew, he adds a generous dusting of magical white powder. Could be salt, could be sugar, could be Chernobyl residue. Who's counting? Then the grand finale, what appears to be mutated rice, or perhaps the cursed larvae of some eldritch horror. A few savage squeezes of lemon ensure your taste buds never recover. Finally, he stirs his chaotic potion with the grace of a mad scientist conducting a reckless experiment. This isn't food, it's a test of survival. Bon appetit if you have a death. Witness a culinary abomination. A trompo so grotesque it appears to have marinated in the depths of a septic tank. The aroma, a haunting blend of despair and decomposition. But fear not, our valiant chef has a trick up his grease-stained sleeve. With the enthusiasm of a con artist, he drowns the meat in a flood of sauces and an avalanche of spices. A desperate attempt to camouflage the unmistakable flavor of something that should not be eaten. The result? A sandwich that oozes menace, each bite an assault on logic and dignity. It's less a meal and more a dare, one that leaves your taste buds begging for mercy and your stomach questioning its life choices. Behold a true connoisseur of catastrophe, a man seated in a murky puddle, feasting upon a mutant turnip of questionable origin. But plain dirt is too bland for this culinary pioneer. No, he expertly dips each bite into the thick sludge at the bottom of the pool, savoring the rich, earthy notes of filth and fermentation. The result? A dining experience that defies both hygiene and human reason. Each mouthful is a gamble, each chew a meditation on poor life choices. This isn't just eating, it's a full contact sport against common sense. Indian street food is a true feast for the senses. Our trip begins with the symphonic noise of dishes being washed in a charming rustic stream, followed by the preparation of radioactive orange dough fritters. A journey full of the most secret techniques of authentic master chefs. Juices where even the juicer is the work of nature itself and redefines the real fooding concept. Special and essential touches that only the most ancient techniques can provide. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your masks, sanitize those hands, and prepare your stomachs and nerves as we dive headfirst into yet another unforgettable adventure in the wondrous world of street food. Step aside, Michelin star chefs. There's a new culinary genius in town. Meet the true innovator of street food, a man with a glowing yellow dough mound, likely harvested from discarded traffic cones. With unmatched efficiency, he slaps it onto a shovel, because why use a cutting board? Then tosses it into oil so ancient it could have hosted the first Olympic Games. The result? Churros that shine with an industrial glow and taste like a road trip gone wrong. It's not just food, it's urban recycling on a plate. Bring your courage, some antacids, and maybe a health inspector. Enter the world of a chef who redefines traditional techniques with an unforgettable personal touch. Our rotund culinary artist begins by squeezing a lemon, not with his hands, but with his nipple, channeling ancient energy, or just sheer audacity. As if that weren't enough, he adds his own saliva directly to the pan, declaring it the secret ingredient no one asked for. Each move is a spectacle, blending primal instincts with a disregard for hygiene that would leave even the boldest street food fans cringing. Meet the maestro of muck, redefining fruit preparation with a technique as raw as it is revolting. With feet so filthy they could double as compost, our intrepid chef stomps mercilessly on a pile of fruit, grinding it into submission. The result? A swamp-colored liquid that oozes across the floor like it's trying to escape its own existence. It's a spectacle of dirt, decay, and questionable decisions, proving once again that not all traditions are worth preserving. Welcome to the buzzing capital of questionable cuisine. Our chef, unfazed by the cloud of flies swarming his workspace, masterfully folds his dough with precision. The catch? Each fold traps a fly or two, entombing them like relics in an archaeological dig. The air is alive with the hum of insect wings, yet the chef works with serene confidence, as if extra protein were the secret to his recipe. The result? A dish that's equal parts bread and biodiversity, perfect for those craving a truly wild culinary experience. Brace yourselves for a dessert that defies categorization, part sweet, part unspeakable mystery. Our fearless chef blends what appears to be a mix of animal excretions, or quite possibly a few unfortunate insects, into a single heaping mound of uncertainty. Is it fur, wings, or something far worse? The line between dessert and biology lesson blurs with every scoop. The textures are unsettling, the smell is distinctly wild, and the final result? A dish so bizarre, you'll question whether it's a treat or an experiment gone horribly wrong. Ah, behold the latest innovation in churro making. This isn't your grandma's churro, this is the farm-to-face edition. Our chef, with hands so filthy they could double as a petri dish, shapes the dough into perfect little replicas of bull's excrement. Why? Because why not add a little extra flavor, read bacteria, to your snack? With every squish and press, he injects a whole new meaning into handmade. The final product? A churro that's not just shaped like manure, but loved with hands that may or may not have touched a compost heap 5 minutes ago. Ooh, damn it. Who forgot to pay those guys again? Nah, I'm just kidding. This is the art of dishwashing, elevated to new, murky heights. Watch as our dedicated chefs scrub away in a lovely brown puddle of stagnant water. Because who needs a sink when you've got nature's own filtration system? The water's rich with flavor and probably bacteria, adding that extra earthy touch to every plate. Each scrub is a masterclass in sustainability, using what appears to be nature's finest swamp water. Who knew dirty dishes could taste so adventurous? So next time you're looking for a truly authentic dining experience, just remember, the messier, the better. Ah, the durian, spiky, mysterious, and apparently captivating enough to gather a dedicated audience. Our talented fruit handler approaches the task with admirable skill, though it's unclear whether the real attraction is the technique or the unexpected physics demonstration happening alongside it. With each precise cut, the durian jiggles, shifts, and responds to her every movement. Meanwhile, the crowd, mostly single men, stands eerily still, hands deep in their pockets, rhythmically counting their coins. The air is thick with concentration, though it's safe to say no one is here for a cooking lesson. At last, the durian splits open, revealing its soft, creamy center. A round of subtle throat-clearing ripples through the crowd. Some pretend to admire the fruit. Others suddenly remember they need to buy absolutely nothing. And just like that, the most educational fruit demonstration of the year comes to an end. The preparation of mystery roasted bird, a street food classic that thrives on the element of surprise. Because what's dinner without a little existential dread? Here, our fearless chefs coat their avian, or not so avian, masterpiece in a thick, vibrant layer of fluorescent orange paint, the kind that screams road construction ahead more than Michelin-starred dining. The bird, or shall we say, bird-adjacent protein, is expertly marinated in what one can only assume is a blend of spices, industrial dye, and perhaps a hint of radioactive fallout. Depending on the season, diners can look forward to a roster of winged or wingless delights. Pigeons from the local train station, sparrows that narrowly escape the windshield, or, if you're lucky, a bat or rat masquerading as a bird with an identity crisis. Once drenched in its neon glory, the creature is skewered and charred over an open flame. The aroma wafts through the air like a siren call, part campfire nostalgia, part electrical fire, with just a whisper of dumpster eau de parfum. The roasting process transforms the mystery meat into a crisp, blackened relic that could double as a piece of modern art or a medieval weapon, depending on your perspective. For the adventurous eater, this dish offers a sensory roller coaster. The first bite reveals a texture somewhere between rubber tire and overdone jerky, with flavor notes that might remind you of a burning chemistry set. But what truly elevates this delicacy is the thrill of not knowing. Is it poultry? Is it vermin? Who can say? All that matters is that it's served hot, orange, and unapologetically questionable. A true triumph for those who live to eat and aren't afraid to risk their lives doing it. Bon app. Oh, never mind. Just enjoy the ride. Ah, yes, a culinary adventure that truly grabs life by the, let's say, boldest ingredients. This bubbling cauldron of delight, proudly simmering on the streets of India, is nothing short of gastronomic erotica for the truly daring. Forget oysters or chocolate. This stew takes the concept of aphrodisiacs and ties it in a tight, unrelenting knot. Visually, it's a feast of suggestive shapes and textures. The swollen, bulbous morsels float serenely in a viscous broth, glistening with an almost obscene sheen. One might say it evokes primal instincts, though whether they lean toward hunger or flight is up for debate. And then there's the aroma, a complex, heady cocktail of musk and mystery, mingled with a distinct tang reminiscent of forgotten gym socks in the sweaty aftermath of poorly ventilated teenage escapades. It's bold, unapologetic, and uncomfortably intimate, like walking into a room moments after a couple has finished their business. Each bite is a tactile odyssey, as the stew's fleshy chunks resist and then yield in ways that are almost too suggestive. The chewy elasticity might remind one of latex, while the softer bites, Let's just say they evoke memories you'd rather not unpack during dinner. This is more than food, it's an unfiltered confrontation with life, love, and anatomy. A dish that dares you to chew thoughtfully, swallow bravely, and reflect on what exactly you're doing with your life. Bon app. Oh, wait, no French here. Just enjoy, if you can. Welcome to the ultimate guide to gastro misery, where cooking is less about hygiene and more about heart and other unmentionable body parts. Witness the mastery of techniques like the swamp scrub plate polish, where dishes are rinsed in the finest stagnant water nature can offer. Marvel at the flavor spit stir, a personal touch guaranteed to make every bite unforgettable, whether you want it to be or not. And let's not forget the armpit pita press, a bold innovation in bread making that brings a whole new meaning to body heat, all topped off with the Dirty Hand Deluxe, where every ingredient is lovingly massaged with hands that have seen things no one should. Cooking has never been so visceral. As we wrap up another glorious year of culinary creativity and questionable choices, here's to embracing 2025 with the same daring spirit as these master chefs. May your plates be cleaner, your spices intentional, and your armpits reserved strictly for deodorant. Cheers to a year full of flavor, laughter, and slightly less terrifying food prep. Happy New Year! Ah yes, the culinary masterpiece of the century. Nothing says gourmet donuts like flour sifted straight from the gravel pit and a splash of truck diesel for that authentic working man's glaze. Michelin chefs could never, and the technique inspired, calling the entire town to knead the dough with hands that probably just fixed a tractor or petted the local stray dog is a stroke of genius. Why stop at hygiene when you can add flavorful mystery bacteria to the mix? Move over, Krispy Kreme. These donuts are literally crushing you, one grimy palm at a time. Bon appetit. Behold the entrepreneurial geniuses who have redefined the art of beverage service with their hand-filled mystery shakes. A symphony of questionable textures and vibrant, unidentifiable colors. These culinary visionaries have bravely parted ways with conventional utensils, following a legendary falling out with their spoon supplier. Since that fateful day, they've embraced a purer, more intimate approach, the sacred use of bare hands. The concoction itself is a marvel to behold, a swirling blend of thick white liquid accented with dramatic streaks of red and assorted splashes of rainbow hues. Is it fruit, syrup, or perhaps the remnants of a cow's most productive month? No one can say, and that's part of the charm. Each sip promises an adventure, perhaps even a gamble, as you ponder whether you're tasting tropical bliss or last week's leftovers with a touch of artistic liberty. And let's not overlook the packaging. Forget cups or bottles. Those are far too pedestrian. Instead, your bespoke beverage is lovingly poured into a humble plastic bag, tied off with the grace of the sailor's knot. This eco-conscious presentation reminds us that great shakes don't need fancy trappings. They only need bold pioneers willing to push the boundaries of hygiene. Every serving is a testament to their commitment to tradition, their fearless rejection of labels, and their belief in the raw authenticity of the human touch. So drink up, if you're brave enough to handle the full contact experience of liquid art at its finest. Last night, the great Mystico defied the very laws of nature by making a rock levitate on live television. Using nothing but his intense hand gestures and apparently sheer willpower, the stone rose majestically, coincidentally in perfect sync with some suspiciously taut, shimmering air molecules above it. For the skeptics, he even passed his hand under and over the rock, accidentally smacking it in the process, because controlling ancient forces of the universe is, understandably, a bit clumsy at times, a flawless performance. Truly, physics may never recover. Behold the man who elevates calamari to new heights of culinary daring, by slicing it on a blade so corroded it seems to double as an archaeological artifact. Forget the pristine sharpness of modern knives. This chef knows that nothing enhances the delicate flavor of squid quite like a generous seasoning of rust. Each slice carries the subtle essence of iron, imparting an unmistakable metallic tang that can only be described as vintage dining. The knife itself, with its pitted surface and questionable structural integrity, gifts the dish with a texture that whispers, health inspections are for cowards. And the taste? Divine. The briny softness of fresh calamari is boldly complemented by the unique flavor of a handful of old pennies left in the rain. It's a complex profile, one that lingers on the palate and perhaps in the bloodstream, offering diners a side of iron supplementation they never knew they needed. This isn't just cooking, it's an adventure, a bold statement about humanity's resilience in the face of questionable sanitation, a true feast for the daring, and a silent prayer for the immune system. Bon appetit, if you dare. Today we landed in China, bellies empty and dreams big. First stop, the #1 street stall selling marbled beef so rich it looked like Jeff Bezos' wallet. One bite, buttery, melt in your mouth perfection. We were in love. Then, bam. They showed us the secret. Out came a syringe the size of a rocket launcher, injecting fat into the meat like a Kardashian getting fillers. The steak went from flip-flop to 5-star Wagyu in seconds. Forget grass-fed. This was lab perfected. And they were selling it at prices higher than my cholesterol after eating it. So next time you see luxury beef on the street, just remember, is it real marbling or just a steak on steroids? Deep in the heart of an African village, where life moves to the rhythm of nature rather than the hum of a refrigerator, history is being made. A chunk of ice has arrived, not as a gift from the gods, but as a riddle sent by celestial beings with a twisted sense of humor. The first brave soul picks up the mysterious object, only to be hit by an alien sensation, cold. His eyes widen as he examines this bizarre, hard, slippery, and wet thing. What kind of dark sorcery is this? With the same curiosity a chimpanzee would have upon finding a forgotten iPhone in the jungle, he lifts the chunk of ice to his mouth, but wonder soon turns to horror. The bone is vanishing. It melts through their fingers, slipping away like a spirit refusing to be held. Someone drops it onto the ground and poof, it's gone, vanished. One moment it existed, the next just a puddle remains. Has it escaped? Transformed? Were they fooled by a trick of the spirits? The tribe stands in shock, scanning the horizon for the trickster responsible for this cosmic prank. But there is no culprit, only a newfound wisdom. Ice is real, but it refuses to stay with them. Like a celestial visitor with a one-way ticket, it disappears before they can even understand it. And so, the legend of the vanishing bone will be told for generations. Around the fire at night, children will listen with wide eyes as elders recall the day they held solid water in their hands, only to watch it run away like a mischievous ghost. These are our exquisite churros, lovingly prepared in the finest cemetery sand. Piping hot churros cooked to perfection in the very sand that cradles your ancestors. Sourced from only the most distinguished burial grounds, this ancestral sand infuses each churro with a taste of tradition, a flavor older than time itself. For those looking to add a personal touch, you can substitute with ashes from any dearly departed relative. Grandma's warmth will live on in every bite. With a unique texture reminiscent of ancient relics, this delicacy offers a culinary experience like no other. It's gritty, it's bold, it's unforgettable. Only for the most refined palates, these churros are a true gastronomic voyage into the afterlife. Ah, yes. Welcome to another fascinating video of this distinguished gourmet's channel. Behold the culinary masterpiece of the Indian pinched empanadas, a dish so daring it feels like it was born in the depths of a mad scientist's lab. The experience begins with a close-up of a neon green broth, glowing with the unmistakable hue of nuclear waste. Rumor has it, this broth gets a special tone from the runoff of the Kudankulam nuclear power plant. It's not just food, it's a science experiment, daring you to gamble with superpowers or a complete gastrointestinal meltdown. The real show starts when the chef confidently plunges a hand, one that looks like it's been on a lifelong mission to avoid soap, straight into the broth. Is it seasoning? Is it sabotage? Who can say? What's clear is that this hand has been places, possibly exploring corners of the body best left private. Then come the empanadas, delicate pinched creations lovingly submerged into the toxic green lagoon. The pinch naturally is performed by the same unwashed hand, ensuring every diner gets their fair share of chef's essence. Each empanada is soaked to perfection, absorbing every glowing drop of the broth, along with who knows what microbial surprises. The result? A dish that transcends mere food, it's an adventure. A fearless dive into the realms of culinary daring, microbial roulette, and your nearest emergency room. With every bite, you'll savor the glowing warmth of the broth, the crunch of the empanada, and the subtle, unshakable hint of the bread. This is not just a meal, it's a radioactive journey you'll never forget or recover from. Ah, the Indian crepe, an unparalleled culinary experience that bridges the gap between flavor and human essence. The preparation is an intimate dance, with the chef's arm delving deep, almost reverently, into the mix, ensuring every inch of batter is infused with their unmistakable mark. The secret ingredient? A touch of armpit artistry that no spice rack could ever replicate. The first bite is transformative, a sensory explosion that takes you straight to the bustling heat of Mumbai's most overcrowded tram. The air is thick, the body's pressed close, and the taste, oh, the taste. It's as if the essence of a long, humid day has been distilled into a single crate. Each mouthful carries that unmistakable tang of underarm ambience, a flavor profile both bold and unforgettable. This is no ordinary dish. It's a journey into the heart of the city, into the pulse of its people, and, quite frankly, into the depths of a chef's dedication. An unforgettable culinary adventure, though perhaps best experienced once, and only once. Ah, the art of omelet making has reached a new pinnacle, or perhaps a new low, with this buttery spectacle. Who needs eggs when you've got an entire pound of butter? That's 2 whole sticks plus some, for the uninitiated, stealing the spotlight. This isn't just cooking, it's a love letter to the dairy aisle. The pan doesn't simply sizzle, it transforms into a molten lake of fat, shimmering with enough grease to lube a small car. The eggs, cracked in almost as an afterthought, struggle to find their place amidst the chaos, floating aimlessly like survivors of a buttery shipwreck. By the time this omelet hits the plate, it's less a meal and more a full-scale assault on moderation. One bite, and you're swept into a tidal wave of richness so intense it feels like your taste buds are being personally coated in a layer of butter. The ratio? Eggs, 10%. Butter, 90%. It's not so much an omelet as it is a dare, a culinary double dog dare to see how much dairy your body can physically endure. In the end, it's not just food, it's a commitment to flavor, indulgence, and probably a cardiologist appointment. A buttery triumph for the brave of stomach and the bold of heart, literally. They say gastronomy is a journey, but our Uzbek friend Stu feels more like a kamikaze dive straight into the gates of hell. The recipe seems to stem from a personal challenge. How many chili peppers can a human endure before calling for an exorcist? Spoiler, too many. With the first bite, you're hit by a symphony of tears, snot, and regret. It's less about tasting food and more about surviving a volcanic eruption in your mouth. But the real magic happens a few hours later, when your stomach declares mutiny and your body decides to skip all courtesies. Let's just say you'll be peeing from places that aren't supposed to pee, and your rear end will feel like it moonlit as a flamethrower. So hats off to this culinary masterpiece. It's not every day you eat something that turns your digestive system into an inferno and leaves you questioning all your life choices. Ah, the dick clam, a culinary abomination that has somehow captivated the masses. Nothing screams sophisticated palate quite like slamming a hammer onto a grotesque mollusk that promptly showers you in what can only be described as clam-based performance art. It's the perfect dish for those who enjoy their seafood with a side of Freudian discomfort. And let's not forget the bold decision to bite into its fleshy, flaccid folds while an audience gawks. Because why settle for mere sustenance when you can also fuel nightmares? Truly a testament to humanity's undying love for edible absurdity. Even more delightfully ironic is the dick clam's variety, because in a cosmic joke against nature and societal expectations, the black ones are notably smaller. Yes, the seafood world has flipped the script, offering a bizarre array of sizes and shades to satisfy every adventurer's curiosity, or perhaps their masochistic tendencies. White, beige, or brown, each dick clam carries its own unique brand of grotesque charm, as if Mother Nature herself decided to poke fun at human stereotypes through mollusks. A true equalizer of absurdity, reminding us that in the realm of seafood, nothing is sacred and everything is mildly unsettling. Not everything could be about dicks, of course. Enter the vulva clam, for those craving a bit of variety in their seafood softcore. Of course, not everyone can handle the vulva clam with the respected demands. Management was forced to expel several diners after reports of, let's call it creative misuse of the dish. Apparently, some couldn't resist turning the clam into an impromptu prop for lewd selfies, while others took it a step further, reenacting scenes that would make even the Kama Sutra seem tame. One particularly bold patron was overheard exclaiming, "It's interactive dining," before being swiftly escorted out. Truly, the vulva clam has proven to be not just a meal, but a cultural litmus test, separating those with a sense of humor from those who really shouldn't be allowed near seafood unsupervised. And then there were the things. Let's call them mystery tubes, though condoms full of sewer water feels far more descriptive. Allegedly, they're seafood, but after consulting every ancient text on cryptozoology, folklore, and banned biology textbooks, I've been utterly unable to identify what unholy creature could have birthed these abominations. Translucent, slimy, and sloshing ominously, they sit there on the plate like eldritch artifacts, daring you to question your life choices. Eating one feels less like a meal and more like participating in a ritual that ends with summoning the sea demon. Perhaps they're proof that not all of nature's creation is to be cataloged or consumed. If aliens are watching, this is the moment they decide Earth isn't worth the visit. Pack your bags and maybe a bottle of hand sanitizer. Today we will dive into the world of ancient cooking techniques. Get ready to uncover the art of cooking the way our ancestors did. Let's go. Move over, Chef Knives. There's a new blade in town, and it's attached to a foot. Watching this man slice meat with his toenail is nothing short of groundbreaking, or stomach-turning. Each cut brings an unpredictable, rustic authenticity you won't find in fancy kitchens. The subtle seasoning of toe musk, a bold flavor profile Michelin can't touch. Sure, hygiene might take a back seat, but artistry? Off the charts. This isn't just cooking, it's a footnote in culinary history. Step aside, gourmet chefs. These ramen masters have redefined the art of seasoning. Forget stainless steel. Their secret ingredient is a pot so rusted it doubles as a tetanus booster. Each batch of noodles comes infused with a bold metallic tang, a flavor profile that screams live dangerously. But the innovation doesn't stop there. Once cooked, the noodles are lovingly laid on the ground for cutting, a step that neutralizes the tangy Ferris notes with a delicate terroir, earthy undertones only a well-trampled surface can provide. It's a process that's as brave as it is questionable, blending the grit of survivalist cooking with the charm of whatever works. Sure, it's not for everyone or anyone with a functioning immune system, but it's undeniably unforgettable. Who needs Michelin stars when you've got Mother Nature lending a hand or a wing? These dumpling artisans have taken culinary creativity to the next level, crafting their dough with an industrial mixer that doubles as a fly trap. Each turn of the mixer folds in a generous helping of airborne protein, offering diners a truly organic experience. The result? Dumplings with a surprise crunch and a flavor profile that balances the softness of the dough with the subtle je ne sais quoi of freshly blended flies. Is it hygienic? Probably not. Is it sustainable? Technically, yes. It's a bold step forward in fusion cuisine, where traditional dumplings meet the wild spirit of entomophagy. Move over, Wagyu. There's a new king of the grill, and it's been aging for 10 million years. This culinary colossus is frying up a diplodocus dry-aged in pure Mesozoic tar. And here's the kicker. The burger is cooked in the very same tar pit it was excavated from, blending ancient history with bold culinary innovation. The chef, a towering figure of sheer culinary passion and cholesterol, flips the prehistoric patty with the precision of a paleontologist uncovering fossils. The result? A burger that boasts a smoky tar-infused crust with notes of extinction and just a hint of geology. Is it gourmet? Number is it safe? Definitely not. But for those craving a meal that's both larger than life and older than dirt, this Jurassic delight is a once-in-an-epic experience. Hope you enjoyed this trip back in time. See you in the next one.
Ang Downy, may bonus 30% more na! Vicks Vapor Drops Lozenges. Its mentholated Vicks vapors help to relieve sore throat and cough.
Kasi naman Manong, meron pa t-shirt naman eh. Ano ba yung ginagawa nyo? Ating triplet! Mama, maraming salamat sa mga mo ko. Ano ginagawa mo?
Paano ako hindi maniniwala? Alam mo, diskretya po at health drink. Yung isang pinakain ng lalaki, tapos sakain na pinala yung babae. Subo, yun yung pinagtataka ko eh. Hindi mo lang tumakbo yung babae, dahil palang yung sinasakal mo ng kilo yung baby. Yung kanya lang nasakalin din sa mga Hindi nga eh. Siguro eh. Akala nyo, niligtas ko sa Lutino. Paano ko yun? Siguro ko kami yung cleaner para patayin yung pagka bumaasa sa kanya. Ang sabi ng Choco, the expectation daw yung nangyari. Wala namang iba. Hindi nga makabuhatos tayo yung victim eh. Wala ka sa mga yun. Kaya yun lang nila mag-ibig. Very committed sa division. Ay, nako. Kawawa mga may-ari ng subdivision na doon. Hindi na ako sila yung beto yung mga ipang-ilipat. Ano naman, oh? Hindi na inaalag ako, ba? Kasi sabi nila ng binibenta yung design. Sabi na parang pa natin. Kahit maraming nito dito, teacher ako dito. Ano ba bentahin nito yung dito, no? Ano mo? Baka may ticket na sila hindi na pala. Hindi tayo. Nasaan? Mata kami dito na. Hindi natin sinabi. Oh, dito. Ano nangyari dito? Sigurado ka ba na yung wala kang hindi sa ito? Ano sila lagi dito? Hindi sila sa kanya sa loob sa harapan natin? Hindi ko alam. Kanina meron. Baka may isang tao pa. Naman. Gracias. Sorry for haka. Bakit ba ang tagal? Dito kami sa Springfield Subdivision. Nasaan yung ambulansya?
pinsala at may mga buhay din nawala. Sa pagtama ng negative 6.9 na lindol sa Bisaya.
Sa lakas ng pag-ibig, hindi natin bilang nila yung bete na matakot at mag-itumot sila. Ang mahilig sa balita at si Pedro Ricabos ng GMA Regional TV.
Nitulak sumayaw ang kalitosyon silaw niya sa harapan ng 63 Apostol College sa Bantagan, Cebu. Biglang bumagsak ang harapan ng ating ng silawan. Kalustod ng dugo, malapit sa instructor na magnitude 6.9 malito. Mag-aalas 10 sa gabi, nagkalat ang debris mula sa mga nasirang bahay. Ang mga rescuer sa barangay Pulang Bato, humingi ng pagdaratulong.
Pwede sa BRR, kaya nag-rescue.
Bumuo nila isang massive restaurant. Napuruhan din ang bayan ng daan sa bayan. Bumuo ang itinuturing na heritage landmark doon. Ang Arcade People's Garden Patara sa Pilipinas. Walang kuryente ngayon sa buong bayan. Isang milyon na katabi ng bago. Pagbilang sa mga pinuntahan ng mga restaurant na pinagdahusan ng isang kaliga kagabi. Habang nasa Rawis, napahita mga isa-isa sa pagkakulang ng pag-expo. Isa sa mga motorista, napakawak sa hili ng tulay. Nagpalala agad ang service government ng mga tauhan, heavy equipment at rescue equipment sa mga nangangailangang lugar. Unod si Lanao, kay Anthony dito, mag-start na dito o parang emergency command center. Kabilang ang gobernadora sa mga dinalo sa area kahit ng Siesta International 2025 City na maramdaman sa lindol. May bumagsak ang bahagi ng sistemit ng hotel. Agad na iniipan sa mga nasagdan. Mabilising inilabas na ng lakas ng pasyente ng Cebu City Medical Center. Tatlong pagkulang sila para makapagsagan ng lindol. Agad lang inilabas kasama ang paglang mga danay. Pero naging problema ang biglang pagsagan.
Kanya na lang yun, di ba?
Ako,
Kasi natin yung doctor, lahat natin, replace kung mayroong
Africa.
tayo mga dahil, pero hindi tayo na doon sa doctor. Huwag yan lang tayo sa doctor.
Sa ibang isang sila ng mga pasyente, matayos na siya. Nawala na sa Africa. Kaya na rin dumabog ng Jerry Regional TV. Nagmamagila para sa clinic.
Aabot sa kanila po ang napaulat ng nasa weekend sa malakas na rin na lumatis sa Bongo, Cebu. Ayon yan sa Office of President ng Press Conference ngayong umaga. Ayon sa UTC, binabali yung karoon ng mga natanggap ng datos. Ayon sa Cebu, after 7 a.m., mahigit 6 na raya ang report ng Africa. Pinakamalakas na naitala ang negative 4.8 sa lungsod ng Bongo. Ayon sa Cebu, sa South Africa hanggang sa mga susunod na araw. Pwede raw ito tumagal ng ilang Cebu kaya dapat manatiling alerte.
Nagpaabot ng pangikirama si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa mga pamilya ng mga nasabi dahil sa magnitude 6.9 na lindol sa Cebu. Sabi ng Pangulo, itinagdasal niya ang kaligtasan ng mga naapektuhang residente, pati ang mga sibatan. Tiniyak ng sinusuri na ng mga kalibing ng mga government agencies at sinisala, pati ang kinakailangang ikadalang tulong. Hinimok niya ang manatiling alerto ang mga residente at sumunod sa mga anunsyo ng lokal ng pamahalaan.
Muli naman tumutok ang bukas saan kanina madaling araw. Ayon sa Philippine Institute of Norwegian Technology of People, nangyari ang minor field ng magmatic eruption pasado alas 2 ng umaga. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon ng interaction ng magma tubig sa bulkan. Umabot sa may 2,000 metro ang taas ng view na kahilayan sa duran ng direksyon. Nakapagsalay na halos 2,000 kilometro ng siyempre sa bulkan sa nakalipas na 24 oras. Ngayon, naka-alert level 1 pa rin ang Taal volcano. Sa ginagawa sa local area na natin ang area of responsibility, tinatawag na ngayon ang bagyo Paolo. Pero ayon sa pag-asa, wala pang direkta epekto ang bagyo sa lagay ng ating panahon ng Miyerkules. History ang patuloy na magdadala ng init at malisan ang panahon pero hindi pa rin yung magpulis na ulan, lalo sa eastern section ng bansa. Hindi nakapagpagod sa history ng Bicol Region, Eastern Visayas, Central Visayas, Canada, Oriental Aurora at Central Province. Uulan rin ang halos buong bansa kasama na po ang Metro Manila sa mga 15 na oras base sa local forecast ng Metro Weather. Maging alert ang ilang lugar mula sa 17 centuries